Your narcissistic family will pressure you to heal fast from the abuse that they caused you. Let's talk about it. Your family members, if they are truly toxic and narcissistic, then they are very, very abusive and they operate like a cult. Who is the dominant cult leader? Well, first of all, let's define what a cult is. A cult is a group of people that share the same beliefs that are usually centered around one person, which is the cult leader. They share a specific ideology, a specific goal, whatever that goal is, but a cult is usually ran by one strong dictator, a leader, okay? Think of a toxic church with a very toxic pastor that molests young boys in the church, and he sleeps with a lot of women. Even though he's married, the pastor has a wife. He's cheating on his wife with all types of women in the congregation. He is extremely narcissistic. But because the church is like a cult, the members of the church, the congregation, also are narcissistic, and they are toxic enablers. So they will cover up all the abusive behavior, cheating, and lies of the pastor so that he looks like a good person when he leaves the church, and the outside community are looking at him. His church members and congregation will go the extra mile to protect and cover his abusive behavior. The cheating, the sexual molestation, stealing money from the church funds, all of that. So when you think of a toxic church, a church is exactly what a cult is. It's a group of people that share the same ideologies with the cult leader. It's centered around the cult leader, and that cult leader is the pastor. That's how your narcissistic family is ran, like a cult. Let's get into it. Now, when we say that your family members are a cult of narcissists, who is the ringleader? Who can you think of in your family has a very strong personality, is very dominant, is a bully, has strong influence over other family members? In other words, they can persuade the opinions of other family members, because family members are weak-minded and they're just toxic enablers. So who is that dictator? Who is that strong leader amongst your toxic family? Is it your mother? Is it your father? It may be your grandmother. It may be your grandfather. It may be a pedophile uncle. But when there's a cult-like system, there is one dominant leader, and he's the cult leader. He or she is the cult leader, and they're going to have a lot of influence over the rest of the family, and they're going to be able to persuade your family to turn against you. The toxic cult leader will smear you. If this is your mother and you put your mother in the cult leader position, she's going to be dominant. She's going to have a strong influence over the other family members. She's going to gossip terribly about you. She's going to talk about how fat you are or how skinny you look. She's going to tell family she thinks you're mentally ill. She's going to tell family she thinks you're on drugs. She's going to tell family you're a terrible mother. They need to lock you up. They need to take your kids from you. She's going to do one hell of a smear campaign and convince your family members that there is something terribly wrong with you. And the weak, toxic, narcissistic family members are going to believe every word she says. And the real tea is this. Your family members don't really like each other. They don't like the cult leader, but they're in agreement and alliance with the cult leader because they too are narcissists. So how do you stand up to your family if they are operating and moving around like a cult? They will scapegoat you your entire life. You're the scapegoat of the family. Your position is to be bullied, talked about, disrespected, violated. You are to be used. If you have a good job, they're going to expect you to turn over money, pay bills, take care of, da 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 da. But your job is to stay silent and let them use and abuse you. And if you talk back or try to fight back or set a boundary, you will be silenced. You will be bullied. You'll be outcast, okay? And you will be talked about indefinitely. And it is the worst feeling to feel unloved and shunned away by your abusive family members because they are running behind the ringleader. They are listening to your ringleader mama and all the bullshit lies. They're listening to your ringleader daddy and all his lies. They're covering up for the pedophiles in your family, whether it's your uncles, it might be your male cousins. There's some female pedophiles in your family too that touch on children, quiet is kept. But you know, because your narcissistic family operates like a cult, they're going to protect and cover up for the pedophiles. They're going to cover up and protect the abuser, your mother or father. Then your narcissistic family will gaslight you and guilt trip you. They may use religious and spiritual abuse. That is where they use the Bible and Bible scripture to guilt trip you, to put you into submission, to pull you back into the toxic family, the cult system, so that you can reconnect with your abuser, the person that you were trying to run away from and stay away from. But because the family is in alliance with the cult leader, your abuser, they're all going to work together collectively. This is also called pseudo-mutuality. They're working together collectively like a cult to help the ringleader, the cult leader, suck you back in. This is very toxic for the scapegoat child, the black sheep that is trying to escape this ongoing abuse. This has been going on for 20, 25 years. They did it to you when you were a child, and they're still doing it when you're an adult. It never stops. And the more that you try to get them to see your way, the more that you try to get them to validate you, you can come with evidence, photos, receipts to show them, and they still will not see you. They will not validate you or acknowledge your claims of abuse, or you trying to get away from your abuser. They 100% support your abuser. Your toxic, narcissistic mother, father, your pedophile uncle, your dirty, womanizing grandfather, your bullying, or your grandmother might not have been a bully. She could have been silent, a covert type that just let motherfuckers do whatever they want. Let your pedophile uncle steal money from her. She turns the other way. She's silent when people within the family are being abused. The grandchildren are being abused. The nieces or whatever are being touched by the uncles. She will look the other way. She's silent. That's also abuse. That's emotional abuse. And she is just as much an abuser as the ringleader. You've got to cut your entire family off and understand that you are dealing with a demonic Jezebel Leviathan spirit. Your family are moving like fucking demons because they are pressuring you to stay in cahoots with your abuser. They want you to stay tied and connected to the person that molested you. They want you to stay tied and connected to your mama that beat, bullied, and abused you and fat shamed you and destroyed your self-esteem. They know your mama's not going to change. They know her behavior is actually getting worse as she ages, and they're still going to pressure you to have a relationship with her. They're going to press you to talk to your pastor daddy, knowing your pastor daddy is a woman beater and a cheater, and he beats on his children, and he's getting worse with age. Family knows this, and they still going to pressure you. You need to work that out with your father. Honor thy father, honor thy mother. Your family is a cult of narcissists. Your family is not going to change. They may even trick you into believing that they actually love you. The reason that they're doing everything is because they love you. You know, that's still family. That's still your mother. That's still your father. Gaslighting. Nobody that abuses you loves you. If there's any form of abuse involved, it's not love. Cut your family off. Cut them off. Because there's Bible scripture that will defend you. Psalm 27:10, when your mother and father forsake you, the Lord will take good care of you. He will step in and parent you. But you got to cut them off, honey. Change your phone number, delete them off your social media, and relocate to another city and state. Get away from your abuser and the people that support and enable your abuser. The cult-like narcissistic family that you were raised in. You were raised in it, but you don't have to live in it forever. Be blessed, y'all.